Hi, I'm Ronan from Forest, and welcome to the second episode of the Nothing Ventured growth series videos, where we look at interesting ways of building and scaling tech companies. Today I have Connor, who was formerly of Datahug. And Connor, maybe you want to just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about what you're doing at the moment.
Yeah,
background.
My background, I'm a computer scientist, so I've always been attracted to data and kind of automation and using technology. As I said, in Dublin, founded probably Datahug, founded some social startups in college before that, and still very much in the data space now at the moment, and currently living in Berlin.
Yeah, and your current really exciting startup is under wraps, so you're keeping it moments.
Yeah, it's not so much under wraps, we're just focused on growing that right now, and that's been going well, because we're just heads down on that and growing that at the moment.
You wrote a brilliant blog post there just before Christmas about startups have these big visions and everything like that, but actually the ones that get successful start smaller.
Yeah,
so you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it comes from the premise, Steve Blank or something, the definition of a startup is finding like a scalable business model. And so like there's two parts of that scalable business model. So start with trying to find a business model as soon as possible. And we all have these visions where we want to change the world and absolutely start massive. But if you look at a company like Zalando, who just, they started in 2008 and now worth 7.2 billion. They started with a small niche, which I kind of like this normally attack a real small niche in the market and try and start selling into that day one.
So what do they do?
So they sell shoes. Think of Zappos, think of Amazon. They're like a big, they're not well known in Ireland, but they're the biggest in Europe in fashion technology.
Absolutely, yeah.
And they picked the niche at the start. They started week one, they were selling. They went out to the shop, they bought flip-flops, and they were selling flip-flops online. So they identified a business model online, they knew how much it cost to buy the ads and so forth, they could build from there. And then, 7 years later, they're a $7 billion company and opening up here in Dublin with 200 jobs.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
But they started in a super niche, so like companies we all love and everyone uses like Apple and Facebook. Facebook started with a niche which was on campus in Harvard. They were to understand it, go after that market. Apple started with a computer club in Cupertino, 50 people. And they all have these supervisions and changed the world now, Zuckerberg and everyone like that. But they started with that niche, owned that niche, and they built from there.
And often the ambition sometimes grows. Like some people think, everyone starts with this massive vision straight away, but often like people get more ambitious the more successful they get and the more knowledge that they build around something.
And then your vision changes and it evolves as you understand the market. But the only way you understand that market is to start with that business model and actually deal with the full cycle of selling it, doing the customer service, doing the refunds, doing the returns, everything around that. And if you can start it in your apartment or start that on the side, that's a great place to start, because then you can apply technology and you bring in investment. If you need it or don't need investment, you can make a decision. This is my business model, this is how it works. And you stand out from 99% of all the other startups who are like, I have this cool idea, I have this cool dream, I have this cool vision, and I'm going to do all this thought leadership and talking and blah and writing about it, and we're going to change the world 5 years from now. But what are you going to do tomorrow to make money?
Yeah. And so is that something that you're doing now? Because I know what's your...
Well, so I'm applying that. So we started selling day one, we started making profit on day 6, and we've made profit every week and every day since then.
Yeah, so that's something that we really like here in Forest is it suits more the bootstrapping model. It doesn't mean you're not as ambitious, it's just you're taking a more almost a more surefire, less risky approach in many ways.
It's a more boring approach. It's actually you're doing work and you're selling, which is actually the bit that isn't as sexy, I think, to founders from day one. It's like this bigger vision. But if you want to achieve that vision and keep control of that vision, you actually need to understand your market. That means selling. And that means getting on the phone, it means doing the hard work, it means the unsexy stuff, or not the tech conference or anything, that kind of stuff, which I would definitely have done an awful lot of that. It's actually just selling from day one, talking to your customers, making money. And if you're making money, investors want to investors want to know all about you, and that's great. You can leverage that if you need it. But bootstrapping, until you understand your business model, when you have your business model nailed, then it's okay to look at taking in venture capital or taking in outside investment. But only when you have your business model understood and it's locked in.
So if you, just to sum up for our watchers here, in one word for startups out there, what piece of advice, because people are always asking you for advice.
Startups are a scalable business model, so skip the searching for the business model bit, start with a business model. So just make your focus on, I want to understand a simple business model. If it's selling flip-flops or if it's selling into salons, whatever it is, get one customer early on. If it's a big B2B, you want to sell into the K&Gs of the world and stuff like that, go to them early on, don't build a line of code, talk to them what it is, and do like a Kickstarter approach where you say, Kickstarter for business, okay, pay me €1,000 now to join my beta program in 6 months. And if you can't get someone to sign up there and then to do that, even when you have a product, it's going to be hard to do that. So the product and the technology bit is easy. Getting someone to write you a check from day one is a hard bit. Even if it's out there selling crepes on the street, okay, here's my model, here's how much the flour costs, here's how much time it takes to make it and hire the staff.
Yeah.
Now, can I scale that? And that's a second question. Okay, this business is not scalable. How do I move or pivot that?
Worry about that later.
Worry about that later. Worry about making the pancake today.
Yeah. So
I'm
thanks
hungry.
a million. Thanks, Connor. You've been awesome as ever. Good luck on the flight back to Germany.
Thanks very much.
And
And
see you next time.
keep up the success here at Forest as well.
Thanks.
And I need a haircut.
Yeah.